One thing I'm always surprised at is how people actually survive in New York City. It's a really expensive city to live in. I think New York and San Francisco are two of the top ones inside the United States to try to survive in. And when you've got a low salary, and I mean low for New York City, I don't understand how they do it. So today we're going to be looking at a video called Living on $48,000 a Year, Freelancing in NYC, Millennial Money from CNBC Make It. Again, $48,000 isn't like a super low amount of money, but when you're living in a city like New York, where everything's more expensive, where rent is super expensive, where buying a house is very, very difficult unless you're on a very high salary. Yeah, 48,000. I'm going to see how she's actually able to do this. So I'm going to like this video. If you guys can like my video as well, it really helps out with my YouTube channel and I appreciate it. And hit that subscribe button and bell notification. Let's see how she survives on 48,000 a year freelancing in NYC.
It was a surprising decision for me not to pursue higher education, but I've always been very conscious of wanting to pay for my own.
Look at that apartment. That actually looks pretty nice there. She's got her music set up here. She's got her bed. Look at that use of space there. That's really great.
Path, if possible. My name is Kate Brunatz. I am 23 years old. I currently live in Brooklyn, New York.
Okay, so she's outside of Manhattan. So that's going to make it a lot easier for her. But still, Brooklyn's not cheap.
Last year I brought in $48,000.
And she's got a dog. I mean, dogs are expensive too. It's trying to take care of an animal. You've got emergency doctor visits, vet visits that you have to worry about. It's really expensive to take care of a pet. Okay, so she's in Brooklyn, doing something with music. I am amazed how people can make money with music. Like that's like one of those passion things that if my kids were like, I want to make money with music, I mean, I want to be supportive of it, but I would also tell them that it's not easy to do stuff like that. Music production. Maybe she does like jingles and stuff for businesses.
I would say first and foremost, I'm a music producer. So that means all the sounds that you hear behind the vocals, so like the pianos, the sound effects, all those things, I am building the beats there. One of the best things about freelancing for me is that you get to learn so many different skills and put yourself in so many different situations, and that makes me feel very engaged.
It's actually really great that she gets to do something that uses her passion. Like, that must be really fulfilling if you like something like music. She gets to do it every single day. I just hope that doing it and like for a job doesn't take away her passion.
Yesterday, I helped someone set up their podcast setup. Right now, I'm also teaching kids 1 day a week music production. I edit podcasts. I write for music production blogs. I also sometimes produce for indie artists. I do copywriting. I've done like...
Okay, so it's not just music. She's doing copywriting too.
General marketing videos, that sort of thing.
My wife got one of those little instruments. They're quite therapeutic.
I grew up in a very academic neighborhood in Northern Virginia.
Northern Virginia is an expensive place to live too.
I always loved music growing up, but I hadn't really found something that I was really obsessed with until I found out that music production existed. That I just fell head over heels in love with.
She learned how to produce her own music in high school. I mean, that's great. She learned it from a young age. If you're a younger audience member and you're watching this now, I mean, look at the things that you can do. I think YouTube and music, all these different things, so many opportunities now to make money where maybe even just 5-10 years ago wasn't there. She decided to skip college and instead head to the industry. I think nowadays, like, it's hard. I don't want to tell kids not to go to college, but it's getting that way. It's getting to the point where unless you're going for a specific job that requires a degree, if you're interested in something else that maybe you don't need a degree for, it might not be worth it, especially if it's going to be a struggle for you to pay for it.
I've always wanted to work as soon as I could just because I knew I wanted to build a safety net for myself. My parents and my brother always emphasized the importance of saving, and as soon as I was 15 and a half, which is like the earliest age you could work, I got a job at Wegmans.
I started working really young too. I think my first job was at Burger King. I was like 16 when I got it. And of course, I wasn't working there every day. It was after school, a couple nights a week. But it really, I think it's important to start working young just so you understand maybe what some crappy jobs can be like. Like I kind of realized I didn't want to work at Burger King for the rest of my life.
High five. Good girl.
She worked at Wegmans every day after school as a cashier in customer service.
Yes. How about a dance?
She also taught music lessons, walked dogs, and saved birthday money. Smart.
Yes, very good.
Wow. See, $10,000 before moving to NYC, $10,000 can go fast in NYC. So it might sound like a lot of money, but you go and try to get an apartment with that. You put down a down payment or a deposit for your apartment, and then you have some expenses. It's good, but it's not a lot of money, especially for New York. Moved the day after her graduation. Wow.
I eventually met Matt, who is my partner now. He also had a very similar path of, at 18, he moved out of his home as a freelance video editor. In that time, I learned about freelancing myself. I didn't know that that was a path that could exist, especially, you know, for someone like me who hadn't really pursued any higher education.
The hard thing with freelancing also is that you get to pay for your own health insurance. So you get your own business there, and that's a big, big expense. I know in New York they have, based upon your income, your payments are gonna change. You can get credits back and whatnot, but health insurance is expensive. She works 8 different clients. Wow. Writing articles for music production blogs. Okay, so this is kind of interesting. She makes money from music, but it looks like she's more of a freelance writer for blogs. Budget. Okay, this will be.
So this year I've had a pretty large goal to try and earn at least $1,200 a week. I figured if I was able to do that $1,200 a week, I would be able to set that aside and still live comfortably in terms of being able to make the art that I want while saving.
So that's the thing. A lot of times if you've got that money and you've got that extra money, you can focus on what you really want to do. And that's where these kind of side hustles come in, where you can get money coming in and you're making money from doing something that maybe isn't your favorite thing. Maybe she doesn't like writing articles, but she does that to pay her bills, and then maybe she can focus on her other stuff because she's got that other money coming in. She lives with her partner, Matt, and their dog, Spicy. So that's going to help out with rent as well. So since they're sharing an apartment, hopefully they're able to save money. Look at that dog. There it is. There it is. The couple pays bills using a joint bank account. That's a pretty big step, especially for people that are not married. So I would imagine it looks like they're pretty serious.
We each make a transfer from our own personal accounts, and it's just for those shared expenses like rent, groceries, utilities, insurance for our dog, pet food.
So remember I said animals can be expensive, so she's got insurance for her dog as well.
And sometimes like a little slush money if we want to go out to eat. Most of the time I pay for all of my expenses on my credit card so that I can get that cash back. I probably have around $10,000 in savings, but most of that is coming from my IRA, which is right around $9,000. Because I'm freelance, I don't have a 401k or any sort of retirement match, so.
She's really young. I mean, I would love for her to start some kind of a solo, like a 401k or something, but she's still got quite a bit of time.
I really need to be proactive and save for that myself, so my IRA is really important to me. My one splurge is I budget for a bubble tea every week because I'm so passionate about it. And
I love it that she budgets for that. Every week she has one. It's not like she's drinking it every single day. Every week she has one. And I think that's important, that you're not going to cut out everything. Like a lot of people talk about, oh, I'm not going to, if you don't drink a coffee every day outside, it's going to save you X amount of money every year. Yeah, like, you have one once in a while. It's okay.
And it's amazing.
Good. She pays up her credit card every single month. So important. If you have a kind of any kind of a like debt on your credit card and you're paying interest on it, get it. That's like your emergency to get paid off as fast as possible. She's dedicated savings accounts for music, future home, and personal expenses. That's great. She's really organized. Making money.
Most weeks I'm working a pretty normal Monday through Friday schedule.
$45 to $55 an hour. That's good. Good money. Decent money. 9 cents a word. I need to get an article writing job. I could do that in my spare time. Maybe you could too. And she's freelance. You can set aside money for quarterly taxes. That's really important. Book jobs through Upwork. It's important to have that tax money aside because you don't want to get hit with a tax bill and not have that money. So make sure if you're getting paid like that, make sure you save money for taxes.
Most of my free time is taken up by my artist project where I'm producing and singing and performing my own songs.
Looks like I bet she has a YouTube channel. Looks like she's got stuff that she's putting out there.
I do make a little bit of money from that, but for me, I think it's important to have that separation between art and what I do to survive and sustain myself.
She earns some money from her music through royalties and door deals at concert venues. That's fun. Who knows? That might turn into something. Usually puts those back to the art. Cool.
That's mixing my songs, that's putting together costumes for my performances, that's paying for my rehearsal space, putting together music videos.
It looks like fun.
There are so many ways to spend money on music. I'm pretty minimalist in terms of setup. Like my MIDI keyboard is like $100. I use that like every day. My guitars, one I got from the Guitar Center dumpster. Another was like...
She's thrifty. That's great. I love to see that. And that's going to pay off in the future. If she continues on like this, she should be fine by the time she's in her 40s and 50s.
$200. I got a good old Squire Mini over there, so nothing too fancy.
Looking ahead. Okay, that's always the hard part. Moving forward, Kate wants to earn $45,000 a year. You feel this amount will help with the savings. Okay, her expenses stay the same. You also want definitely as well. You can donate if you can.
Coming from when I first moved to New York and it was so tight and stringent, I feel so lucky to be where I am now. I think it's super commendable when people are able to commit to their art full time, but I think for me, decoupling that has really benefited me, and I think it benefits my art too, because I know at the end of the day, my expression is not dependent on its perceived value in the outside world, and so I think it can actually be really freeing.
It's a hobby, and like I said before, it's nice to separate that hobby from making money. And if it makes her some extra money, great. But it's a hobby. It's something that gives her pleasure and makes her happy. That's fantastic.
You know, if I end up being at this level for a very long time, but it still allows me to save and do what I love, then I think I could definitely be happy with that.
So what do you guys think? Could you survive on $48,000 in a city like New York? What's it like in your area? Let me know below what cost of living, what it's like where you live. Also, make sure you like this video. It really helps out on my YouTube channel, and I appreciate it. And make sure you hit that subscribe button and bell notification. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again in my next video. Thanks.